And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com, www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app on the website. They will bring it right to your front door, pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop, or head down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15% off the Galactic Goodness Wednesday through Sunday, lunch and dinner. It is out of this world. Welcome back, Aaron.
Appreciate it.
How was early family Christmas in wonderful Indianapolis? And was Brent there? Like, is he part of the family now? Like, if you brought him in?
I actually didn't even get a hold of Brent while I was out there, and he'll probably be upset about that. But it was family time. I mean, we just hung out, had a lot of fun, and ate a lot of really good food, and
that'll do it.
Drove back today. So.
All right. Well, we missed you. Keegan filled in admirably.
I appreciate that, Keegan.
He didn't get a win, so he's still under review. His record has not been like, maybe that's what's gone wrong over these past 6 months is, everything went to shit as soon as Keegan started working here. Just kidding, mostly.
Kinda.
Oh boy. Quite a few things on the plate today, Aaron.
Yeah. Been busy.
I know we'll get to this a lot tomorrow night. Did you have anything you wanted to touch on from the game last night, or are you going to spare me having to listen to talk about it, and we'll just do it tomorrow?
I'm gonna spare you only because this allows me to have a completely clean slate when Brent inevitably asks me what my thoughts were several days removed from a game that I kind of got to watch while I was eating dinner and hanging out with family. So,
and ultimately don't want to talk about either way.
And I definitely don't want to go back and rewatch it. So
I will just say that beginning of the second. Well, first off, the Dayton student section was 1 foot behind me.
Ooh.
1 foot behind me. And then we were in the second row on the floor. So there's people in the floor seats on the same level as us. So I can't really watch the game. And then the video board looks worse than my TV in my 19-inch TV in my room from 1992.
Is it still just the colored bulbs?
Yeah. Yep. And then to get there, Aaron, the Bengals game went into overtime.
Of course it did.
And everybody was still leaving, and you couldn't get to the arena.
First world problems.
To say I walked into that arena bubbling, it's a whole other, like, I had many choice words.
Life comes at you. Yeah.
And then the game happened, and it was like, actually, by the end, I was just like, you know what? I don't even care. Just get me out of this godforsaken hellhole.
You mean all the RC Cola, all the RC Cola you could drink was not enough to make up for it, huh?
That's how many RC Colas I had. Oh. Keegan opened one. He was like, I'm having an RC Cola. And then, like, in the middle of the second half, I was like, you didn't even touch that thing. He was like, I had one drink. I was like, yeah, it's disgusting.
Did he check the born-on date at the bottom? Is it from like 1989 and it's just been hanging out at the old Coliseum in a closet?
It's been somewhere? In a fridge. It's been in a 1940s fridge.
No, you don't need a fridge because there's an ice rink in there.
That's true. Oh God!
It stays quasi cold all year.
Anyhow, a couple commits. Since you've been gone, Aaron, they got Kai Stokes at safety. They got Northern Illinois wide receiver turned tight end turned edge rusher George Gums.
Because why not?
Yeah. And then today they added former Idaho cornerback Ormani Arnold, who apparently, like, I don't even think it got out that he was in the transfer portal. He went in the transfer portal Friday. I think he got here yesterday for a visit and committed today. So that was clearly one that they had identified. There's anywhere from 5'8" to 5'10" out there. He's a slot corner.
I've seen him anywhere from 150 to 175 as well. So
yeah,
he's something.
That looks more one set. That doesn't look like a 150-pounder.
I agree.
He doesn't,
but who knows? I mean, I guess you can manipulate some things now with AI and everything else.
Sure. But I will tell you this, Aaron. One time, many years ago, I was 5'8", 150 pounds, and I did not have muscles like that.
Well, I would also think as this staff tries to zero in on what their prototypical players are at these positions, that they're probably not going to take a guy who's $150.
You would hope
not. I
like,
would.
It's one thing if a freshman comes in at 150 and you're like understanding of we gotta pack some weight on this kid. You don't want a transfer coming in at 150.
Not a guy who you plan on vying for a starting position.
Yeah. So the tape shows a willing tackler, guy that's active in the run game and does a good job covering the slot for Idaho. And then just a little bit ago, a guy that they had been on since right around when the portal opened, I believe, Tony Johnson of Florida Atlantic, picked the Bearcats this evening. 411 yards on 37 catches in 2023, including 4 touchdowns. He did have an 8-catch, 131-yard game against South Florida, an old friend. So, he's listed at 5'11".
He's fast.
I think his great speed, and I think they were looking for a guy to go opposite Xavier Henderson in that field spot. And my guess is this guy will be at the front of the line for who gets an opportunity there.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody kind of built in the mold of, like a Trey Tucker, where not going to be.
Well, he's 5'11", so he would be 4 inches taller than Trey.
A little taller, sure, or just not a guy of the Xavier Henderson mold is, I guess, what I'm getting at. Not a long receiver who's going to go up and catch those jump balls, but somewhere in the middle between one of the tall guys, one of the slot guys. No, I'm interested to see what his skill set is. Obviously, when you have a receiver room that has plenty of room, you certainly like to see them get guys earlier in the process than later in the process there. So that tells me that they've been high on him.
Yeah. I'm big on, get guys at wide receiver that have produced somewhere. There are positions where I'm okay with taking a guy that's been stuck behind stuck down the depth chart, or was at a major school and is working, trying to find somewhere where he can get on the field. But at wide receiver, Aaron, give me a guy that's done something. Like, I want to know it translates.
I'd agree. Absolutely.
That's it for now on that front. The dead period starts tonight at midnight. So what that means is coaches can't be on the road visiting players. Players can't take visits to schools. They can still communicate via phone, all that good stuff. But in terms of in-person communication, that is out until I think January 3rd or 4th. So I think, you're probably going to see a wave of guys, if they haven't already. You'll see a wave of guys start to commit because they've taken their visits. There will be some others that want to take there's like a 4-day window in that first week of January where transfers can visit like one last time before the end of the whatever before school, basically before classes start, and you're either going to be there or you're not. So
find out.
Yeah, it's going to be a big week football recruiting wise. As Dave has posted, Wednesday is signing day. We will be at the Scott Satterfield press conference Wednesday. I will be speaking with both Brad Glenn and Brian Brown about commits on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. Those are the offensive and defensive coordinators for Cincinnati, if you don't know. And then on Thursday for the BCJ pod, Dave and I will be talking to Zach Grant, the GM, to get his thoughts on the recruiting class and also the transfers that have signed to this point. So a great opportunity this week to get caught up on everything that's happening kind of on the recruiting front as we go into signing day on Wednesday. Basketball, Aaron. Well, let's do football real quick.
Just one to talk about.
Yeah, so far, just one to talk about. As Texas Tech started slow and then kind of stormed back. California led 14-7 in the first quarter, and Texas Tech scored 27 straight to win 34-14. So that kind of gets things rolling. I'm looking here. There's not another Big 12 game until Friday when UCF plays Georgia Tech.
Love seeing a team from the Big 12 knock off a future Big 10 team.
Still all so stupid.
It is stupid. But Texas Tech finishes up the season 7-6, the first of 9 teams from the Big 12 that made a bowl game. Not a ton to talk about. I mean, Baron Morton, 256 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Taj Brooks led all running backs with 22 carries for 98 yards and a touchdown there. So that's about all I got there.
Yeah. Let's see. Basketball. Big game yesterday. Kansas 75-71 over Indiana. That was a game Indiana led most of the way. And then Kansas stormed back at the end. I'm telling you, man, like if I have a favorite player in this conference, it's KJ Adams from Kansas.
He was not the leading scorer.
Everything. No, but he does everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure that he would have been able to do pretty much anything he wanted if he was red and black, as that team struggled mightily against Dayton. But he was the third highest scorer for Kansas there. Hunter Dickinson, the second highest scorer, was 17, and Kevin McCullough Jr. with 21 leading the Kansas Jayhawks.
Sorry.
All good.
I think my dog was trying to eat food off the stove in the other room.
All good. But yeah.
Houston 70-66 over Texas A&M. The big story there is a bad one for Houston. Terrence Archino, one of their better players, torn Achilles, lost for the year. That was already a team that was really only rolling 8 deep.
Yeah.
And to lose a heavy rotation guy like Archino, that's rough.
They still only rolled 8 deep in that game, even with Archino only getting 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I would imagine that you'll probably see
somebody's going to have to move into the rotation. You would think.
Yeah, I'd imagine you probably see more out of Dunn at that point.
Yeah.
But who else?
mean,
Who else?
They're going to have to find an eighth guy, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and there's certainly some minutes to give out there.
Yeah. You can do it with 7, but boy, I wouldn't recommend it. I would not recommend it. Baylor gets smoked by Michigan State, 88-64. That one was not that they, I mean, it's Michigan State, right? Like Izzo can jump up and get you at any time.
Right.
But like that?
Yeah, they beat the doors in. That's not a way that you want to lose as the number 6 team in the country. I don't think it's going to be a game that haunts Baylor or anything of that nature.
They'll be fine. It's just to see it get away from them that bad is surprising.
Pretty bad.
Oklahoma destroys Green Bay. Oklahoma is 10-0. They're good. Like they're better than a lot of people expected and are playing incredibly well. BYU beats the crap out of Georgia State. See what I just said above. Texas, 96-85 over LSU. Let me see something real quick here.
I think that there was. I think those were all part of that tournament going at the Halal Guys Showcase. They were all played at the Toyota Center, along with the games from the Texas A&M Houston game. But that would have been a pretty cool little, I guess, MTE to go to.
Yeah, I don't know if it was an MTE or if it was like a showcase deal.
It's called a showcase, actually, the Halal Guys Showcase.
Yeah, which means it's just basically like, a couple games in the same place on one day.
There you go.
UMass drops West Virginia 87-79 in the Hall of Fame Classic. Texas Tech big over Vandy, and TCU big 79-59 over Arizona State. I mean,
the Hall of Fame Classic actually being played in Massachusetts this time, though, instead of Toronto. So good on them for that.
I've been to a Hall of Fame Classic in Connecticut. So
it's right around all that stuff's
close enough.
A stone's throw away. Both that Texas Tech Vanderbilt and the Arizona State TCU games, part of the Coast to Coast Challenge, though.
Yeah, so I guess yesterday was a big showcase day. It makes sense, wouldn't it? Like the weekend before, a busy holiday week, you play a showcase game, and then you maybe squeeze in a bye game and then vanish for a couple days.
Yeah, those were Fort Worth at the Dickies Arena.
Yeah. Nebraska 62-46. This is today. Only game of real importance today. Nebraska 62-46 over Kansas State. Kansas State's 8-3. There's a lot of that's a weird situation right now.
That's a terrible score. I think you were talking about in the pre-show, 12 points scored in the second half by Kansas State.
Yeah, that was a game Kansas State led 34-31 at halftime, and they lost 62-46.
And Nebraska's, they're 9-2. They're nothing to, be ashamed about. But 12 points. We remember the last time Cincinnati had a game where they had
11.
Also, it
was 11.
So
they couldn't get to 12.
Look, Northern Kentucky and Nebraska are not the same.
No, they're not. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing. Kansas State's going to be interesting to watch all season because they've got talent, but as we talked about, they're in a weird spot with their president kind of ruling that one of their fan favorites and a big locker room guy had to go. Kind of got kicked out of school. I don't know, kind of got kicked out of school. Got kicked out of school or taken off the team, however you want to put it. People have asked Tang openly, are you sticking around? Are you okay with everything that's happened here or what's going on? Louisville's about to come open. I think he would be an incredible fit at Louisville. Can you imagine that guy recruiting with Louisville's money?
I don't want him around. It's too close.
I understand. But that's an interesting situation to keep an eye on. All right. You got anything else?
Not today.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow night on the BBP. That is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!